Okay, this is DragonofEternity and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker MSQ. I finally got DirectX 11 to work. And you know how I got it to work? I changed my bloody audio settings from Arctis Chat to Arctis Gaming. For some reason that was causing the DirectX 11 issues. I am at a loss of words for that. So, last time we finished up in Favnir after destroying the Tower of Zot. And in this video, I am now level 82, so I can accept Kryle's quest. Tongue twisters! I hope you didn't mind us barging into your room for our late night feast. For what it's worth, it did me a world of good to put our troubles to one side, if only for a moment. Aww. I'm glad it helped you. Are Alpha no Dals around here? Probably not. Right, Kryle! Sound the bell, school's in. And this gives me a 525 weapon. Kyle and Gratia were having a pleasant conversation until you barged in. I left my room. Oh, there you are, feeling refreshed, I hope. I was about to make my way to the studium, as it happens. I wanted to try to speak with Skolok Montishane and thank him for coming to our rescue in the Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come to see us, following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Favnir. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with his former students. What is cud? Since we're still waiting for Stoll and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? Sure. Then it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his two toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to Phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studium for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Unlike some of the Scions, I am not an alumni of the studium. As such, I have no acquaintances there I am obliged to visit. And while I would love nothing more than to pore over the many great tomes of Phenomenon, I fear my presence there would stir up more unwanted trouble. So, for now, I will be patient, much as it pains me to do so. Okie dokie. Right, where's the twins? Ah, they're out here. If Father can master these fiendish contraptions, then so can I. Heading out for a stroll? No, I'm going to lessons, apparently. The Scholark himself was here. In that case, what are we waiting here for, even? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studium. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Yeah, it does. Alphino, of all people, worrying over his reputation. And at our alma mater, no less. Will wonders never cease? You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Okie dokie. Can I check something while I'm on the move? Let's see what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. Nah, nothing's changed. Okay. It's probably just changing the audio settings that makes me think it's a bit louder. I can't believe that was the issue. For 2 days, I was having issues with this. 2 days! And I just had to change fucking audio settings. I'm mad. Right, I'll say. See that sculptured picture above the entrance? No, because this camera angle's in the way. That's the mark of Faliak, the scholar, bearer of the waters of knowledge. It's no exaggeration to say that Sharleyan itself is one enormous shrine to him, and it's especially noticeable here in the studium. Let's see. What am I looking at? Am I looking at the pot up here? Alright, who was I talking to? I'll say. So Alphino next. It feels only like yesterday, or feels like only yesterday when I first walked through these doors. And Kryl, I see you're hidden behind that NPC, or that player. Oh, this music. Click, 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 click. Here it is, Phenomenon. While I expect you made note of it before, one can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? While most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. At the centre of what would later become the Studium, it was established to promote the study of etheriological phenomena, hence the name. For with ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th Ashal era, Phenomenon was decreed complete, and the Studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority on inferiority, the arcana called the strong and canvas of the field, standing proud as Sharleyan's most educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech, such as his undying love for his old stomping ground. He was in the top form back then, youngest to enter the Studium, graduated with highest honours in and magical arts and etheriology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the Studium at the same time, yes, and from where I stand, you're both equally prodigious scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honours, and I am certainly not the Studium's most notorious master debater. In all respects, I have ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, I just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Livier began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully, we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alphino. Alphino, you pimp. And with a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. Well, there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look for Scholar Monteshain. Other faculty tend to frequent our offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whims take him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. Okie dokie then. Let's see. I need to wait for someone to spawn in. Just cracking me knuckles there. Do I need to be upstairs? No. Excitable student. That was Alphino Livier, wasn't it? The Alphino Livier. And he's with his sister and Master Baldessian's granddaughter. This can only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word! Okay. Oh, sorry, you said you were looking for the scholar, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Aleapo should have a better idea. Alright, you're just crouching. Aleapo? Aleapo. That name rings a bell. Things were bad enough during our school days, and Alphino's Tambroid has only heightened his fame, or should that be infamy? He's had his rivals and detractors, of course, though most of them gave that up after his adoring fans set upon them like ravenous dogs. Oh god, simps. Alphino, on the other hand, never paid them much notice. They were simply beneath him. Alright. It's Alphino himself in the flesh. He spoke to me. Actually spoke to me. I assure you, I'll tell you all about it after my business with the Scholark has concluded. The Scholark? Tell me, my good fellow, does this have something to do with saving the world from catastrophe? Might we turn our attention to Master Levier's graduation feast, as I too have my thoughts regarding our policy of non-intervention. Is it true that your experiences overseas are the reason you have incurred the ire of the Forum? Oh, what I wouldn't give to see you butt heads with those old codgers. Oh yeah, he's famous. Right, Miss Aleapo. I know potentially 2 of your family members. Ki Aleapo. Is that racist to say they're related because of family name? Are you lost, wandering off the streets, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're trainee gleaner, fresh off the guild ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, I still me, and orientation is in order. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Searcher's Meet. Let me start with a question. What is the most important thing you'll find in a studium? The Scholark. That's right, books! And what's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else? That's what we deal in here at Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, we send the gleaners off to find it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Eye of Piazza this, Tongue of Giganto that. It's enough to make your hair stand on end, which is possibly what some of our students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. I'm not a gleaner! The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the Scholark's whereabouts. I've tracked down many miscellaneous knickknacks in my time, but I'm no gleaner. Sure. So what you're telling me is, you're not a gleaner? Yes, that's exactly what you said, isn't it? And you're looking for a Scholark. I'm afraid we don't have any stock of those in stock, but I can. Oh, you mean him. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though he said he was on his way to Maker's Meet. Go back the way you came in, and you'll see the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts, home to many rare and expensive curios, not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. Ha! In the time it's taken me to tell you this, the Scholark has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I'm feeling you need it. So I guess you don't know Chloe or Zoe or Leopo? Maybe not. I mean, they both have the same second name. I'm going to assume it's from the same Mikote tribe. Maybe. Let's see. Level-headed student. Yes, the Scholark was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor, perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Oh, for the love of... Search for Monteshane. I believe that is him there. There he is. Hello!
I remember you.
Ah, this is voiced.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisois in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
I mean, we technically saw it at the cutscene in the forum with everyone, where that guy choked.
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat. We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into three forms. Two are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third? Yes, very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it. Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The Seventh Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharleyan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet. I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend. Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharleyan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
That's not a laugh I trust. You have been granted the run of Phenomenon. If your game, Kia Leopo, would put your artisanry to good use. Well, that'll be a thing for later. Alphino. Grail. No one. Okay, there's a lot of people here now. Right, let's go over here. Alphino. While Scarlet Monteshane is best known for his role as head of the Studium, he is said to be one of the finest mages Sharleyan has ever produced. Having seen for myself the ease of which he weaves extraordinarily complex and powerful magics, I have no reason to doubt the claim. Let's see, Alice. Some of my earliest memories are of Scarlark Monteshane, actually. He was a close friend of our grandfather. He would come for tea and amaze us with his tricks, much like his demonstration of the paper and ink. He's a huge part of why I wanted to enter the Studium in the first place. And Kryl. A capital idea. Kryl is still digesting a rather hefty portion of food for thought. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the Forum's true motives, and the mysteries of life itself for good measure. It's funny, I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, only to leave more indebted than before. I have a feeling his friendship and support will be a great boon on us in days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the Annex. Perhaps on the way you could better acquaint yourself with Kia Leopo, as the Scarlock suggested, while I share our findings with Roja. But that sounds like a... Let me check. The faculty. Yeah, that's a blessing of land, blessing of hand thing. I suspect that is similar to the crystalline mean in Shadowbringers. So that might be worth doing in my off time. So let's see, back to Baldessian Annex. Let's get on with the MSQ. I want to see how this wraps up. I really do. Can't believe there are some people who are probably at the end by now, by cutscene skipping. Yeah. Wait, snowing? I did not know it could snow. Okie dokie, so Speaker Grahart here in the main hall. I guess I'm waiting for him to pop into existence. Come on, buddy. Waiting on you to appear. Unless I need to go into the main hall. That might be a thing. Right, everyone's... oh, nearly everyone's here. Right, party check. Estinian. Having spent most of the time in Favnir, I have yet to fully grasp the lie of the land here in Sharleyan. Or the lay of the land. Even finding my way to the Annex proved a challenge. Estinian returned not long after we departed for the Studium, a shame that he'd missed a chance to attend our lecture with the Scholark. Or perhaps not. Yeah, he would have saw how popular you were at school. You'd better not let your guard down around Key. One small favour becomes another, then another, and before you know it, you'll be running to the other side of the world in search of a bottle of wine, or some other rubbish. Then again, it might make for a welcome change of pace from your usual heroics, and as the Scarlark said, it could lead to interesting discoveries. It seems I've done an adequate job of relaying Scarlark Monteshane's lecture to Roja. Given his experiences in the field of soul and memories, he had no trouble understanding it. Welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to the Studium proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from our fellow Scions. As expected, news of the Warding Scales was met with much joy. Preparations now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Far Eastern Alliance together to determine a way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in our position to the Limsa. So the time has come to go on the offensive? It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, think it's of no reason to oppose such a plan, but let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? Hopefully they're still there. Hopefully we didn't leave them unguarded. Has anyone checked in the box? Phew, I didn't realize this crate was so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Vritra and the alchemists of the great work put their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales, so you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We're already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as our official representative, were found to be consorting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how far that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn. I can feel it. Talimsa Lominsa. Talisa Lomasa. If you learn aught of interest, be sure to let me know. In the meantime, I will do what I can to aid our cause, though I fear that will be precious little given the circumstances. Welp, enter the command room in Limsa Lominsa. Alright, let us see lower Limsa Lominsa deck. How crowded is this place going to be? Let's find out. Given the loading time, I do fear about this. Could we have met an old door? And again, the last time we had a big meeting there, it didn't turn out too well for a few people. Let's see. No, this place isn't split up yet. Surprised it hasn't. So, east and into the command center. This is going to be a bit crowded. Right, let me through. I was told to expect you. You may or may not be aware. The Admiral is at present entertaining the Elder Seed Seer and the Sultana. Three of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare, or shall I show you to them? Show me to the women! That sounds wrong. Oh, out of context. I don't stream, so I doubt it'll be in a Lulu video. My apologies for calling you away from Sharleyan at such short notice. On the contrary, we are honoured and grateful, and pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. 'Twas only right this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition, a force has struggled to contain the threat posed by the towers, and it is only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plan entails? It hinges entirely on the warding scales and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During your time in Sharleyan, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abductions of Kobold, Sahagin, Ixal, and Nanta have given rise to an increasing number of primals as well, but your triumph in radz-at-han has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace, and it is you, the Science of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telothroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilsabard contingent. To think such progress has been made in so short a span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, countless Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Telothroi every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering, not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. Sure. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I only ask that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion or morality. For without that, there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. Aye, on that we can all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower Lathancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zot was toppled, we'd failed to make any headway, though the same could be said of the Telothroi. They're certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the Spire's primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied, while they work towards our annihilation. But what about the man's limb that was in there? This would appear to be substantiated by Stolar's analysis of the tower's influence and ethereal currents. Based on her observations inside the Tower of Zot, the spires siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain their form. However, they draw for far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It shouldn't surprise me in the least if it was being redirected to the larger spire in the capital. There's logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good, but what would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. We want you and your scales to join the Ilsabard contingent. Consider it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance. Do you accept? Do I have a choice? Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. For honour and glory, for the people of Garlemald, for revenge against the Telothroi. For the people of Garlemald, let's get them free. Couldn't have put it better myself. Music time! Ishola, Lathancred and Urianger have already pledged their support and are on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They are positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, their prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding scales to Ala Mhigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ilsabard. Raban and Lord Amric are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourself known upon arrival. Pack warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold could do you in before the Telothroi so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go, safe in the knowledge Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Okie dokie. I feel like I'm missing something here. Just maybe. And loading screen. Come on, sooner I get into Garlemald, the sooner the queues might be a bit less. Although if everybody's been rushing, then everyone's probably going to be in bloody Garlemald by now. Or in the later zones. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that. Alright, to the Ala Mhigo Quarter. I wonder if $4 going to come with us. Oh, that'd be irony at its finest. No, what would really be irony at its finest is Gaius van Baelsar. Come on, I helped you with the weapons. You could help me with going to your homeland. Maybe take your adopted daughter with you. Or at least the one that survived. What button am I pressing? W. Whee! Boom. Guess I'm waiting for it to spawn in. Okay. I might actually want to end the video after this quest turn in. Yep, that might be a plan. Although, judging by this, there's another cutscene to go. That is a lot of people. Ah, rub on! I didn't see a potty check. So there might have been people already here. Oops. Ah, the Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Amric be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabard contingent. The very suggestion that we send some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid unto the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. Sadly not, for I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side charging into the fray. Alas, I have battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Amric's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again. Hey! Gaius! Much has occurred since we parted ways in Wurlit. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So you're not coming with us? Wait, what? Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do. The Telothroi have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But for every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varus and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilsabard contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Those are just excuses. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. Bullshit, come with us! We will deliver your people from harm in your stead. I doubt they will be pleased to see the champion of Eorzea set on Garlean soil. I understand Wurlit is in your hands. Ooh, both of these are good. Let's go with that one. For what it is worth, you have my gratitude. You and your comrades have the strength and courage to deliver my countrymen. I am certain of it. In light of Gaius's rather unique circumstances, I instead will assume the role of your guide. Oh, that's a giant death flag on your head. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said, might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two, and if I don't see you again ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. Oh boy. This is really setting things up, isn't it? Uh-huh. Right, let's wait until the next quest appears. And I guess I might as well do a party check while I'm here. No. Alright, I gotta wait until this quest disappears then. Woo. Yeah, give it a bit. There's a bunch of people around. Okay, things are slowly loading. In and out. There we go. Maxima has the quest. Okay. So let's see. LSA. I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, when the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. For now. With the knowledge that our allies will hold the line in our absence, we may devote our attention to the Ilsabardian front. Graha? So that's Guy's Belsaw, the horrors he must have seen, many of his own making, I do not doubt. Yes, he has seen such devastation. It was not his intention. Estinian, like Gaius, I too stand accused of Varys' murder, though I am rather less recognizable on sight. Still, it's something to bear in mind once we reach Garlemald. Yeah. Amric. I neglected to mention earlier that we received a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. While engaged with a lunar primal, a great worm swooped down from the skies above and came to their aid. This worm, as described, was the spitting image of Tiamat. It would seem she too continues to wage war against the Telothroi. Yay! Go Tiamat! Once we've seen a contingent on its way, I will return to my duties here in Ala Mhigo. As many of our most capable will be travelling with you to Garlemald, we who remain will have to fight that much harder to make up the difference. But let no man say I do not welcome the challenge. Aye, this old bull isn't ready to hang up his horns yet. And finally, Gaius. Regardless of how my countrymen receive you, the cold will not treat you kindly. Underestimate it at your peril. Yeah, I should be fine. I mean, the arms and neck might be a bit cold, but well. Right, Maxima. The best of the best. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Alright, that's a thing for me to do next time. Okay, so I think with that, I'm going to end this video here. This has been DragonofEternity going through more Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker MSQ. In this video, I received a lecture from an old man, and I guess now we're putting together a party to go to Garlemald. Woo. Oh, that's going to be a fun place to go to. So yeah, I guess next time I will meet the team and head to Garlemald. So with that planned out, viewers, with my rambling hopefully now finally done, until next time.